And you think too much attention is being focused
Yes, I do.
on some of these
I've
marginal
always
things?
felt that.
Okay. So, 2002 comes and goes. Jennifer Granholm beats Dick Posthumous in the general election by 4 percentage points. She's governor. 2004 comes along, and Nick Smith, one thing we didn't cover was way back when you were in the Senate in your second term.
92.
You actually
I ran.
92. You ran for Congress.
I ran. I
then.
thought I was going to win that.
Yeah.
And I lost the primary to Nick.
To Nick Smith, who was another state senator serving
Yes.
with you. So you were in the same district and he won. Why do you think you lost that primary in 92? And we'll get to 2004 in a minute.
I lost that primary in 92 because it became obvious after it was all over and we went back and took stock. I wasn't conservative enough for the people, especially in that lower tier of counties, Branch, Hillsdale, Lenawee, out County, Jackson County. So those are very, very conservative people.
You think, again, it was issues like abortion that made the difference?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. And the second thing that beat me in that primary was, again, horrible voter turnout.
Yeah.
And the people who were really motivated, as you know, are the self-same people we're talking about, especially the ones who were motivated by issues that we would consider quite far to the right issues.
Right, right.
And they come out and they vote in primaries. And they win primaries, and that's what's going on today.
Yeah, I think Nick Smith had another advantage. He is a farmer. He had a farm anyway. And there was a lot of farm support for him.
Absolutely.
You know, he had a farm
I
kind
agree.
of background and constituency. You didn't.
I
That probably
agree.
helped him.
Oh, I think it did.
Yeah. Okay, so you get to 2004, and Nick, after two-year terms,
6 terms, that's right,
says, I'm out of here. I'm retiring. It's going to be an open seat race, and you decide, I'm going to run again. Mm-hmm. Okay, what happened?
I won the primary.
Right.
There were 5 or 6 in the primary. I won the primary with 28% of the vote.
Right.
And one of the candidates was Nick's son.
Right.
Very good guy.
Right.
A couple of members of the legislature. I mean, it was quite a cross section of the party.
Right.
And then won the general.
Right. Okay, so you get in and you're...
Yeah, against a weak candidate, by the way, in the general.
Well, whether it was weak or not, it doesn't make any difference. It was not viewed as necessarily a marginal district at that time. Whoever the Republican nominee was probably going to win. And
I
won.
was quite certain I would win.
And that year, in 2004, George W. Bush lost Michigan, but only by 3 points to John Kerry. So it was pretty close to the top of the ticket. So
I got a lot of Democratic votes in the congressional seat, especially in my home county, Kalamazoo County, and especially in the areas around Ann Arbor. The city of Ann Arbor is not in the district, but north, west, and south of Ann Arbor, like Saline, Dexter, Chelsea, Whitmore Lake, were all in the district.
Well, in that year, it didn't even matter so much how many people turned out because you had 5 other candidates who were more conservative than you, and they kind of split the vote up amongst themselves.
I think that's quite so.
And you were the most moderate, and anybody who wanted to be slightly center-right, Joe Schwarz is their man, right?
Well, enough to win the primary.
Okay. Now, you get in Congress, you're elected to Congress. Now, you've got a medical practice you've had all this time, right, in Battle Creek. So what did you do?
I came back to the district virtually every weekend. I would say virtually because not every weekend. I practiced on Saturday mornings and saw patients then, and I would frequently also practice on Monday mornings and go back to D.C. Monday evening or Tuesday morning because the House did not go back into session, usually till sometime on Tuesday afternoon. So it worked out fine. I had myself put on a straight salary from medical practice, so that which was I did a lot more as it turned out than that salary, but I was very happy that you put me on a straight salary, and I'll be here every Saturday, and I'll be here just virtually every Monday, and that's the way it worked. It worked out fine, and I wasn't the only. There are more physicians now in the U.S. House, but I think I was one of 6 or 7 in the House at that time, and several of them were doing the same thing I was doing. And it was all right.
Well, one thing that was really good about getting elected when you were elected is you guys, the Republicans, were still in control of the
Yes.
House.
Yes.
It was the last session of a 12-year stretch.
That's right.
When the Republicans controlled
That's
the
right.
House before they lost control in
4 years.
2006.
Yeah.
And so you're in there, and when you got to Washington, did you ask for certain committee assignments? What did you ask for?
Armed services.
Okay, why?
Because of my experience in Southeast
That
Asia,
we've
my experience in the
described
Navy,
earlier,
my
yes.
experience in the intelligence community, and I also asked for agriculture, and got that as well.
So you got both your committee
Yeah.
assignments that you wanted.
Well, I got another one. I got science and technology too.
Okay.
But I didn't ask for that. Just gave me that one.
Okay.
But I got armed services, and I got ag, and enjoyed it. And somebody
What-
said, well,
what-
why the hell did you take ag? And I said, you look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a horrible simplisticism, but nevertheless, what is agriculture? And being on the agriculture committee, it's economics and science.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And all of the meetings, the committee had huge amounts of agricultural economics and science applicable to agriculture.
Well,
So I loved
that,
it.
you have a lot of farmland
Well, yeah,
in
you
that
got- you- that-
district.
the-
And you
the-
remember
the-
Nick Smith back
yeah,
in
the-
'92 and the
Yeah,
farmers.
the
you know?
district and its makeup
Yeah.
spoke for itself.
Well, how did you like your committee assignments? Did you
Loved
like
them.
All three of them?
Yeah, loved them.
Okay, and even science and technology, you liked
Yeah,
that?
loved it.
Okay. So what did you think overall of the U.S. House as an institution? All of a sudden, not 38 senators, 435 U.S. representatives. What was your reaction to the House?
It's big. it was
Maybe
big.
too
and
big?
Yeah, I kind of compared, especially the Republican conference, to my high school senior class. My high school senior class was about 452, so about half that number, and I was trying to remember everybody's name. That was the first assignment. I'm going to learn all of your names, who you are, so I can say good morning, Representative Jones, good morning,
Sure.
Representative Smith, and I think I did a relatively good job of that.
That is pretty
And,
tough assignment.
and-
230 in your caucus, I
yeah,
think,
about,
in your conference. Yeah.
About, and the other things, I just love the Armed Services Committee. John McCain took me under his arm,
Oh, great.
and when he went somewhere, I virtually always went with him. In other words, the Munich Security Conference,
Okay.
his office calls, it said, you're going to the Munich Security Conference with Senator McCain. I said, okay. And we're leaving such and such a day, go show up at Andrews at such and such a time. We're going by an Air Force plane. It turned out to be a vice presidential plane,
Right.
757. And the group that went, I can't remember them all. Hillary Clinton was in the delegation. John McCain, John Thune.
How big were these delegations?
The congressional delegation, we were about 10 members of the House and about 8 members of the Senate.
Okay.
And then the rest of the aircraft was filled up with press and other various and sundry pundits on the plane. And it was a great education.
Did you have any impression of Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, I had a very good impression of her. Hillary Clinton and I, on that first trip, we got off the plane in Munich, and immediately a U.S. Navy plane taxied up, and the congressional members, and not all of them, took off, and we went to Kiev, Ukraine. The Orange Revolution had taken place, and we went to see the government there, talked to them, and we had a conversation with them. And John Thune was in the group, and
Senator from North Dakota.
South Dakota.
South Dakota,
And
excuse me.
Mark Udall, the senator from Colorado, at that time a representative from Colorado, elected to the Senate, and unfortunately defeated. What a great guy he was, and is. But we went there, and we talked to the representatives of the Ukraine government, and then we went across the street. And this is in the old part of Kiev, on one side of the Dnieper River, which is a beautiful, beautiful old city. Went to the home of the Prime Minister, who was, as you know, this absolutely gorgeous woman named Yulia Tymoshenko. It's just wonderful, brilliant woman, but just strikingly good looking. And you think, God, can anybody that good looking be prime minister? But we were having lunch there, and sitting right on my right was Hillary Clinton, and we were having a good conversation. And toward the end of the lunch, we were served this little crystal glass with some clear liquid in it. And yeah, she looked at her glass, and I looked at mine, and we noticed some of the guys were doing this. And Hillary kind of tapped me like this, and she said, Congressman, said, what do you think's in that glass? And I said, Senator Clinton, I think because we're in the home of the Prime Minister of Ukraine, this is probably very, very good Ukrainian vodka. And she kind of looked at me again, and she said, I think so too. Shall we? And we go, boom, like that. So she was a great traveling mate for this big group of people that went.